Hi and welcome to Prepping Essentials. When something hits the fan, particularly if it's a significant disaster event or a prolonged crisis situation, unfortunately a lot of people are going to die. But what is the biggest killer when something hits the fan? The answer might surprise you, and it's something that you'll want to consider when you're organising your preps. So let's find out. When something hits the fan, irrespective of whether it's a natural disaster or a man-made crisis event, unfortunately it is inevitable that people will start to die. However, the majority of deaths won't be as a result of military action or martial law, nor will they be through the destruction of buildings and infrastructure, or even as a result of the marauding hordes after the disaster event, all trying to run around and find food, water and other supplies. The actual cause of the majority of deaths will be something much more simple and perhaps overlooked by many, and that is infections, diseases and medical issues. This is because whenever there's a significant disaster or prolonged crisis situation, the normal day-to-day services that we all depend on will start to fail. Garbage or refuse collections will stop, and rubbish will start to pile up in the streets and in the buildings. The mains fresh water and sewage disposal facilities will start to fail. Drinking water might run out and toilet systems might back up. Bodies will be left lying on the street. They won't be collected, they certainly won't be buried. And any crisis that is large in scale or prolonged in duration could lead to the failure of hospitals, which would become overwhelmed with casualties, and indeed the doctors and medics might not be there because they're at home taking care of their own. So for anybody who is dependent on regular medication or regular medical intervention, the sudden withdrawal or loss of these services will mean that their conditions rapidly deteriorate, and in many cases this will lead to death. The general lack of sanitation in the normal urban environment will lead to a dramatic increase in the prevalence of airborne, waterborne or contact transmission of a variety of diseases and bacteria. This means that for individuals, small cuts, grazes, abrasions that would normally be very trivial and wouldn't need any intervention other than perhaps a bit of a sticking plaster or cream could rapidly get infected and lead to much more serious and indeed life-threatening situations. So it's with that in mind that I wanted to emphasise the importance of maintaining personal hygiene whenever something hits the fan and we enter into a disaster or crisis situation, and for you not to overlook the need to store up items related to personal hygiene as part of your normal prepping routine. So with that in mind, I thought I'd show you around some of the items that I've got stored away, just in case something does hit the fan. Welcome to the smallest room in the house, which for obvious reasons is where we keep all the toiletry products, and I'm quite fortunate in that I've got quite a large cupboard here in the bathroom that houses the hot water cylinder, and I use this to store all of my toiletry and healthcare preps. So we got lots of wet wipes, mentioned those in previous videos, the obligatory stack upon stack of toilet paper and tissue products going back as far as the eye can see. A couple of baskets here which I'll mention later. We've got the toothpaste, shaving gels, shower gels, mouthwash, range of antiseptic liquids and gels, band-aids or elastoplasts, and again some more baskets full of preps and some tins at the bottom there. And we'll drag all this out, or we'll drag a selection of this out into the kitchen and we'll see exactly what we've got. Okay, so I've dragged out a selection of the different products that I've got stored in the bathroom. However, I'll start off with something that might seem a little bit unusual when we talk about toiletries and healthcare, but it will become obvious. In any grid down, something hits the fan situation, cleanliness will be a vital thing. So you need to make sure that you've got lots of antibacterial cleansing cloths and good old bleach. Make sure that you maintain your levels of hygiene, particularly in the toilet whenever the grid goes down. Not only does bleach help you with cleaning surfaces, harking back to one of my other videos, you can also use pure bleach to help you clear your water. So a bit of an odd start talking about cleaning the house in a something hits the fan situation, but for obvious reasons it is connected to the subject of healthcare. We'll follow on that since we've mentioned toilets. We've got a variety of tissue products and a huge pile of toilet paper, going to be extremely in demand during any kind of grid down scenario. Wet wipes, that's not antibacterial, but just for normal skin care, help you save on water when the grid goes down. And then finally a selection of other cotton buds and Q-tips, or earbuds as we call them in the UK. So that's general toiletry type products or sanitary type products. Moving on to cleaning the person, the body itself. I have loads of these shower gels. Obviously use these everyday situation, but something that is quite often overlooked on the subject of washing is the old-fashioned bars of soap. These will last an awful lot longer. They're more compact, they're more easy to carry if you are on the move than trying to cart around a whole host of these very flimsy plastic shower gel containers. So it's worth not overlooking just normal bars of soap the old-fashioned way. If, like me, you do have a bit of a dry skin issue, then lots of this moisturising cream. I do find this is very, very good. It stops you getting rashes, which could lead to infections. So moisturising cream, I would keep lots of that on hand. Being a man, I do shave, so I have a massive amount here of disposable razor blades. I wouldn't even like to hazard a guess as to how many I've actually got on hand, but there's got to be getting on for a few years worth there, and if it lasts that long, the crisis situation, then I'm going to have to go back to a beard. But for as long as I can, for hygiene reasons and just for my own personal peace of mind beings, I'll try and continue shaving as long as I can. So loads and loads of razor blades, along with loads and loads of cans of shaving foam. Oral health, in any kind of long-term something hits the fan situation, and no access to dentists, oral health is going to be a huge issue. So I would encourage everybody not to overlook the importance of keeping teeth, mouth, gums healthy. I use antibacterial mouthwash every single day, and I've got lots of this on hand so that I can continue to do that if something does hit the fan. You'll have seen the big stack of toothpaste in there. I mean, this is so cheap. If you go to the discount stores, you're talking 60 to 90 pence for a tube. You can easily get a year's worth supply on hand for not an awful lot of money. So I have loads of different kinds. There's a portable version of the toothpaste there. I use that for holidays, but equally you could use it in your bug out bag. I happen to use a electric toothbrush, so I've got replacement heads for those, lots and lots of those on hand. But in a longer term grid down scenario, who knows what's going to happen to my electric toothbrush, so don't overlook maintaining a stock of good old-fashioned manual toothbrushes. In addition to that, I've got a variety of toothpicks or tooth cleaning material devices, good old dental floss, and something else that I keep on hand, that might seem a bit strange because it's for babies, is teething gel. This Bonjela teething gel is extremely effective at taking away the pain if you've got an abscess on your gum or cheek, or if you happen to bite, which I have done numerous times, the inside of your cheek. Again, it's not expensive and it's dead easy to get quite a big supply of that stocked up. Might seem a bit random being for babies, but it is very, very good. And then finally, on the subject of oral hygiene, I keep some of these on hand. They're emergency tooth repair kits. So you've got a little emergency kit in there that will deal with loose crowns or lost fillings. Toothache is probably one of the worst pains, not in the butt but in the mouth, that you can get. Anybody who's had toothache will know this, so why not stock up on some emergency dental repair, and as I said earlier, the Bonjela relieving gel. So that's dental hygiene, oral hygiene out of the way. We'll move on to more general hygiene products. Some of these will start to touch on medical, which I don't really want to do. I'll save that for another video. We've got another basket here. I've got liquid antiseptic. That is outstanding stuff. I don't know if you've used it or not. TCP for anything virtually, whether that's putting on cuts, grazers, wounds when you're dressing them in a first aid situation, even if you dilute it, mouthwash. It is extremely good stuff, and if nothing else, get a bottle of this on hand. You'll be amazed how often you'll start reaching for it once you realise how good it is. Similar kind of thing, Germaline antiseptic cream, again for cuts, grazers, other kinds of infection situations, and again first aid use. Got a variety of other creams and gels. We've got some there for if anybody suffers from chilblains, hand pain, hand and toe pain relief, or if you have got chilblains, it'll help to clear those up. There's some of this ibuprofen anti-inflammatory gel, so if you've got bruises or muscle strains, again, that's great for that. This is a antifungal cream for feet, but you can use it elsewhere, armpits, wherever. Anywhere that you sweat a lot and you start getting a rash or a fungicidal infection, that's great for that. Normal coughs, colds and blocked noses, you've got Albus oil. You can breathe that in, or you can put it on a cloth or on your pillow. Breathe in the fumes. Similar kind of vein, the vapor rub. I found that's also useful actually if you get a swollen gland in your neck. Just rubbing that on does clear it up. It's not just for inhaling to clear blocked nose and sinuses. And similarly, this stuff, Tiger Balm, this is it's not readily available everywhere, but if you look in your herbal medicine places, oh yeah, can't resist smelling that every time I pick it up. Similar kind of thing, it's for muscle joint pain relief, or as with the vapor rub, for clearing blocked noses, sinus problems. Then we're back to the normal pain relief that most people will have. There's anti-inflammatory ibuprofen tablets. There's normal paracetamol pain relief tablets. There's some cough and cold remedy tablets there. And then I've got a variety of others. Antiseptic lozenges for sore throats. We've even got some antacid tablets, quite a few of those actually, just in case you suffer with acid. And then finally, there's some sleep aid. They're kind of a herbal remedy if you're having trouble getting off to sleep at night. I think you might need that in Something Hits the Fan. Stress relief, again, it's a herbal remedy made of different plants, which allegedly is supposed to relieve stress. I did try them. They didn't actually work for me, but who knows, they might for you. So that's more general medicinal products. I'm trying to avoid getting into the realms of first aid at the moment, and I'll save that for a later video. So I've put all that to one side now. I was starting to stray into the realms of medical or first aid, so I figured I'd drag out a couple of the first aid kits. This is the general house one, which obviously is quite large and bulky, but it's always in the house just in case we have any kind of medical emergency in here. And then I've got a few different more tactical first aid kits for when I'm out and about, particularly in remote environments. So I've got a few of these stashed around. There's a couple in the different vehicles that I've got, and then there's a tactical one that goes on a belt with the bug out bag and the water canteen and such like. So I'll dip into this one first. I'm not going to go too much into the realms of first aid because I have to confess from the start, I'm not a first aid expert. Hence there's always a book on hand or a leaflet on hand, but I am capable, having done a few different courses over my lifetime, of dealing with the more routine kinds of bumps, sprains, breaks, bleeds that you might have in a normal household or just on things like camping trips. I'm certainly not into the realms of paramedic, but first aid I'm comfortable. So this is just a normal household first aid kit, as you would probably have in most houses. A variety of different bandages and gauze pads, all different kinds of sizes, the obligatory elastoplast band-aid type things. There's some steri-strips, there's some liquid skin seal. This is specifically designed to close wounds and fasten them together, as are the steri-strips. I've seen lots of preppy videos where people have suggested super glue, but to be honest, I'd rather spend a quid extra and buy the proper stuff. You are going to need things like scissors and alcohol wipes, tweezers for getting out little splinters and such like. These are everywhere. Lighters, literally everywhere and anywhere, because you can never have enough lighters. There are a bit more advanced stuff in here. There's an airway in here, face mask, rubber gloves. There's also some, these are extremely hard to get hold of, which is annoying in the UK, antibiotics. I don't know if anybody wants to comment in the video as to where you can get antibiotics without going down to the doctors actually having a big issue and needing to have them prescribed, then please do tell me, because in Something Hits the Fan situation, these are going to be extremely valuable, and they will definitely be in short supply. So if anybody knows where you can get antibiotics safely, I don't mean some obscure internet website that sells you some random pill and claims it's an antibiotic, or if indeed, as many prepping videos tell you, if anybody knows whether fish antibiotics actually do work and would be safe for humans, then again I'd be very interested to know, so leave a comment in the box below. So that's the general house first aid kit. It is a fairly comprehensive kit. There's enough in there to deal with pretty much all the medical emergencies that you might have in the house that didn't need an ambulance on call. I'll dip into this quickly because this is a field kit, if you like, a tactical kit, where you're out outdoors and you might get more serious medical injuries or requirements. So we've got again some airways in there, emergency whistle. This actually is a modular tactical medical kit. It's a one of like an Israeli bandage. It's self-closing or self-tightening. Again, just a variety of normal everyday bandages and strips, rubber gloves. There's an emergency light stick in there as well, face shield in there, and then finally, which is getting a little bit more advanced than I want to go really, but there's a tourniquet in there as well. So that's the field kit. So without going too deep into the subject of first aid, I would recommend that everybody has some kind of first aid equipment in the house at all times, and if you've got vehicles, keep a small kit like that in your vehicle. You're definitely going to need some kind of medical provision in your household, because when something hits the fan, the doctors, the ambulances aren't going to be there. There's even a chest pad in there for bullet wounds. So have a little think about that, do a bit of research on that subject and start getting together your preps of toiletry supplies, hygiene products, and certainly some first aid products. As with all of your prepping gear, when you're considering what items to stock, consider all of the different types of people that are within your group or that might be joining your group should the event be a prolonged one. Clearly, medical and hygiene requirements are different between men and women and young and old, so just bear that in mind when you're stocking up on items. Also, if members of your group have regular ongoing medication requirements, then take those into account and try to stock up in advance on medication that they might need so that you've got a buffer stock if normal supplies run out. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you found something in there that was of use to you. If you did like the video, then please do click on the like button, and similarly feel free to hit the subscribe button so you can easily find your way back and so that you can be kept up to date as and when future videos are loaded. As always, would love to hear from you, so please do feel free to drop any comments or questions that you might have into the comment section below. Look forward as always to reading those, and I will always take the time to reply if anybody posts any questions. But for now, that's it. Thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you again in a future video.